Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new here, thank you so much for dropping by. My name is Scott. Appreciate you being here. Today we've got a rye that I think is maybe going to change your mind. Hughes Brothers Toasted Rye Whiskey. Let's talk a little bit about that today on the My Bourbon Journey Whiskey Review channel. So as I'd mentioned, a rye whiskey that I think may change your mind about rye whiskey as a whole. What it is that Cyrus is doing with this brand, Hughes Brothers, in my opinion, is absolutely amazing. I think they're starting to gain even more traction than they have before. There's a little more marketing that's starting to kind of be pumped into to kind of hopefully get the word out on what it is that Hughes Brothers is all about. But we're going to talk specifically about their Hughes Brothers Toasted Rye Whiskey that truly is going to, I think, change your mind overall about the rye whiskey category. So let's go ahead and kind of get into it. Here are a few specs on the Hughes Brothers Toasted Rye Whiskey. So this rye whiskey is coming in at 117.01 proof. It is a 95.5, finished then in a medium toasted barrel in a Kelvin cooperage barrel to that matter. It is age stated as 6 years. However, this one is almost teetering on it becoming 7 years old, and the MSRP on this is coming in at right around that $100 price point. So let's go ahead and talk about why, in my opinion, I feel that this is going to be a rye whiskey that changes a lot of people's minds and shifts you into the category of someone who may appreciate rye whiskey a little bit more. So as you can see, color-wise, this beautiful kind of light mahogany type of color. It's got this reddish hue to it. Love to see it. Moving the whiskey around in the glass a little bit. Beautiful, beautiful legs on this. If you're wondering, this glass right here is the Wisdom. No affiliation really with them. I just love this glass overall. But more importantly, let's dive into the nose and see what this one's going to give us. So right away, it's got this beautiful chocolate marshmallow, very quintessential of what a toasted barrel kind of gives you. A little bit of that kind of graham cracker, really nice sweet oak presence on this one. Slight hint of mint on this, but very rich. It feels like a very elegant type of rye whiskey. There's definitely those rye notes. So again, you'd expect that on a 95.5 kind of rye mash bill to get those kind of rye notes that are there. Little hint of black pepper. It smells rich, creamy, decadent. Overall, really nice kind of vanilla sweetness that it has to it as well. More along the lines of a fresh vanilla bean more than anything. Nice kind of rich brown sugar. But again, great rye spice, great vanilla balance. Again, love that kind of chocolate, marshmallow, graham cracker kind of note that it has to it. Let's see what this one has to offer. Cheers. So just like I got on the nose, right away I'm feeling that this has that really rich, kind of creamy characteristic to it. Great rye spice that it has. The toasted barrel influence is starting to really become there on the forefront. So you're getting a lot of that kind of toasted effect. So again, a little bit of the chocolate, the marshmallow, some nice caramels, some graham cracker type of notes. It's got this beautiful balance to it. It's something where I think each component is really enhancing the other. And I think a lot of it has to also do with the quality of that toasted barrel. Overall, what it is that Kelvin Cooperage does is they are really known for their high quality barrels, their processes, slightly different than some other cooperages, how they do it, much more hands-on, more labor intensive. But overall, it really shows, I think, in the quality of the product, then resulting in a higher quality type of finishing effect that it may have on the whiskey itself. There's also this chocolate yet kind of coffee effect to it. There's a little bit of that mint that kind of follows that up, like more of a candy type of mint. Really something interesting to have those wave of flavors kind of stand out amongst the toasted effect. So again, like I mentioned, you have that marshmallow, chocolate, graham cracker effect, but there's this secondary wave of, again, like I had mentioned, that kind of chocolate, coffee, candied mint. It's really very interesting, very enjoyable so far. A little bit of this kind of rickhouse effect. It tastes a lot like when you walk into a rickhouse, what that smells like. If you've ever been in one, you have that kind of idea of that smell. There's a lot of what we smell that kind of transfers over to what we're tasting. And I'm kind of getting a little bit of that effect on this one. So overall, I think there's a great blend of that rye spice along with the toasted effect to it. So again, like we were mentioned, great rickhouse effect, great 95.5, nice rye component to it. A little bit more of those kind of chocolates, graham cracker, marshmallow, but all very well done. This feels and drinks more like an older whiskey than 6 or 7 years old. And again, ryes age a little bit different. So we're kind of hitting a really nice age factor on this rye. At almost 7 years old, it has all of those components of just a really nice, well done rye whiskey. I know at times 95.5 can be a little bit of a hit or miss for some people, but this has much more of that elegant kind of feel to it. And I think what's really changing that, or really allowing this to kind of hit that second stride, is that toasted effect. I think the combination of it already being an almost 7-year-old rye with those great toasted Kelvin cooperage barrels, this feels like a match made in heaven. And I would highly encourage you, if you haven't had anything from Hughes Brothers and you can seek them out or you're able to get your hands on some of it, definitely give it a try. I think this is a rye whiskey that will change a lot of people's minds of rye whiskey as a whole. And again, in my opinion, I think the toasted ryes are, again, a little bit softer, maybe more approachable. And in this case, it's doing all of that. It's an incredibly enjoyable rye whiskey to sit down and sip on, and it's dangerously easy to sip on at 117 proof. And again, that is, in my opinion, an indicator of an absolutely fantastic whiskey, is when you're not getting completely blown away by that higher proof, but yet it's a really nice whiskey to just sit down and sip on, take your time with, and just simply enjoy it. If we talk a little bit about the finish part of it, I think it's all of medium, getting into that kind of medium long. But again, beautiful notes. And I guess just to kind of break this down a little bit into how this was kind of interpreted on my part, is that toasted effect was immediately chocolate, marshmallow, graham cracker, great spice that it has to it. Just a really nice overall balance, a nice, rich, kind of creamy mouthfeel that it had. Just as a whole, it felt like a very high quality rye whiskey. And in my opinion, in today's day and age, at around $100 for an almost 7-year-old toasted rye, I think it's priced accordingly, I'll say that. So overall, I love what it is that Cyrus is doing with the brand, and hoping to get that out to the masses a little bit more. So again, if you can find something, whether it be their older rye whiskeys, or again, like we're talking about today, their 6-year-old toasted rye whiskey, absolutely fantastic things that they're doing, and I can't recommend them more. So do yourself a favor, find something from Hughes Brothers. I think you'll be extremely pleased with the overall product. I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Let me know your thoughts on, have you had anything from Hughes? Are you a fan of them? Have you not? Are you maybe looking forward to more products from them? I'm always interested to hear your feedback as a viewer, and just to kind of get your overall thoughts on these that we're doing kind of reviews of as well. So with that, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in today. Greatly appreciate it. If you'd like to follow me, you can on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those places at My Bourbon Journey. If you'd like to help support the channel and become part of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, make sure you check out the Patreon link in the description below. That down there with a lot of other great things for you as well. So with that being said, remember, it's about the journey, and not the destination. Cheers.